The office was in a converted prison cell. The bars had been removed and replaced with gray-painted cinder blocks. The door had a large window that was covered from the inside with old rusty blinds that hadn't been cleaned in some time. At eye level, the word psychologist was stenciled on the glass. When I entered the office, he pointed to a wood chair in the corner and told me to take a seat. He looked like the guidance counselor at my high school. He was in his 30s with dark brown hair. A corduroy jacket hung from the back of his chair. He pulled a file from the stack on his shelf. 153052, Parsell. Is that you? Yes, sir, I said, my voice slightly cracking. He didn't look up as he flipped through the file, scanning the pages of what was to become my prison record. The size of the folder was impressive, considering I had been there only a few days. He read the pre-sentence report. You have a control hold, he said, still not lifting his head. What's that? It says here that you have an armed robbery pending. Yes, I don't go back for court for sentencing until June. Well, it's only April, he said, closing the file. He read something on the cover and opened it again. It means you're going inside. Inside? It didn't make sense. Inside meant inside the walls of a maximum security prison. My lawyer said I'd go to a camp. He didn't respond. He just continued reading the file. Ever been fucked? He asked abruptly. Excuse me? Fucked, he repeated. It was the first time he looked up from his desk. I blinked, not sure I was hearing what he said. I looked over at the closed door and then back again, too stunned to respond. He swiveled his chair around so that he faced me and tossed the file onto his desk. You have a control hold, he said, because you have a capital offense case pending. He placed his hands behind his head and studied me as I sat there staring back at him. What do you mean, capital offense case? Any crime that carries up to life is considered a capital offense case. Because you have an armed robbery pending, and because armed robbery carries up to life, we have to send you inside until you're sentenced. He eyed my tall but skinny 148-pound frame. Armed robbery, he said slowly. You're a pretty dangerous guy. Not really, I said, ignoring his sarcasm. What did you rob? A photomat, I answered. He was silent. It started out as a joke. I hadn't actually intended to rob the place. It was with a toy gun, I added. He still didn't say anything. He just sat there looking at me. My lawyer said it didn't matter that the gun wasn't real. As long as the girl inside the photo booth thought it was real, it was considered armed robbery. I was hoping it'd make a difference here, so that I wouldn't be sent inside. So, he said, leaning back in his chair. Ever suck a dick? Fuck no, I said. Well, you will. No, I won't. He was silent again, for a long moment. The hum of the electric clock seemed to overpower the noise from the crowded cell block just beyond the door. 7 block was quarantined, where they assigned the fish, new inmates. We were kept locked down until we were classified and shipped to whatever prison we were to serve our time. The psychologist was the last step before we met the classification committee. You're going to MR until your case is adjudicated, he said. I had heard about MR, the Michigan Reformatory, while I was in the county jail. It's where they sent young inmates who were serving a lot of time. Someone once told me, whatever you do, don't let them send you to MR. Inmates called it gladiator school, where motherfuckers fought each other off with broomstick handles and garbage can lids. A pretty boy like you, the psychologist added, you'll need to get a man. Fuck that, I said. My eyes darted to the floor. I could feel my face burning. If you don't get a man, you'll be open game. They'll have to kill me first, I said, sitting up in my chair. That can be arranged, he said calmly. He was enjoying the volley. I didn't know what to say next or how he'd respond to it. I studied the books that were sloppily arranged on the shelf above his desk. I was afraid to let my eyes look at him, fearing what they might reveal. Your life means nothing to one of these cons who's serving a life sentence. You'll suck dick or you'll get your throat slit, and then they'll fuck you. Now I was getting scared and angry. This prick was having too much fun with me, and I didn't know what to do. But mostly I was scared. I couldn't believe they'd send me to MR. I was definitely not a dangerous guy. Up until a few weeks ago, I was still living with my parents and reading comic books. Fuck you, I screamed. You'll just have to kill me, you motherfucker. Okay, he said calmly. He got up and walked to the door. You can have a seat in the bullpen. He tossed my file in a metal jacket and opened the door. Williams, he called out, reading from the clipboard on the wall. 153297. A black inmate got up from the floor of the crowded bullpen and crossed the hall. The psychologist shut the door to begin his next evaluation, and I sat in the space that Williams had just cleared, struggling not to let anything show in my face. I'd learn later, he wrote in my file that I was violent and dangerous, and recommended that I be sent to MR. Yo, white boy, a black inmate with cornrows said. What'd he say? He said I'm going to MR, I shrugged, pretending it didn't bother me. Damn, homie, you too motherfucking pretty to be going to no MR. Broomstick handles and garbage can lids, another blurted. You're going to gladiator school. Nah, Cornrows said. How old are you, Blood? 17, I replied. Nah, he said, shaking his head confidently. They'll send you to Riverside. There's no way they'll send some pretty white boy like you to MR. No way.